Oh, hey. What's going on, guys? Didn't see you there. Yeah, I'm just coming back from the gym, doing my thing. And I thought I'd share with you all how I just became a super host. Oh, yeah. Super host on Airbnb 3 months in. It's no big deal. But if you want to figure out how that happened and how your boy crushed it in Airbnb for the first 3 months and made super host status, you should probably stick around for this video. That's right, homies. I am not just the single greatest out-of-state real estate investor that you've ever met and the king of Gary, Indiana. While maintaining the title of duly elected sheriff of the internet, I have now gotten a brand new badge, a brand new title with which to flex on the broke boys, with which to flex on the loser landlords, with which to make all the socialism-loving, capitalism-hating losers envious of me even more. And that is, your boy became a super host. But why don't we talk a little bit about my Airbnb progress updates and what it takes to become a superhost? Because some people out there might be wondering exactly how to make it happen. Now, why do you even want to be a superhost? Well, it is a little badge that you get next to your profile when you're operating listings, and this might make people decide, hey, I trust that this guy or girl managing this property that I'm looking at renting from might do a little bit better job than Joe Blow random nobody who has had like 3 reviews, and it's probably mom, grandma, and himself on a fake account. So superhost status at least verifies that maybe you're a little bit more of a legitimate operator of an Airbnb property. And I know for a fact there's plenty of tenants who refuse to rent from someone who isn't a superhost. I know when I was just booking out a week-long visit to Vegas for Dion, the lumberjack, and myself to go stay at while we wait to speak at the One Rental at a Time convention in February, I was specifically looking at a bunch of different properties, and I saw one that was way under market value as a new listing, and I wouldn't have put everybody through that new listing, but the host was a super host and has tons of listings. This is just a new one. So I'm going to trust that he knows how to operate it based on his super host badge showing that he has done it consistently with a whole bunch of other properties, because I know what goes into getting that status. So why don't we jump right in and take a look at actually what it takes. So we're going to start with, look at this little email right here. Oh, Airbnb, you're a super host. Thanks, guys. And look, they watered a flower. Appreciate that animation. You are a super host. Here's to you, Michael. Mike. You've worked hard to delight your guests, and it shows. Guests appreciate your responsiveness and reliability and rave about your outstanding hospitality. It's funny, they don't put my most glaringly obvious quality down there, that I'm the most humble person they've ever met. It must have been in another email. Tell everyone you're excited to be a superhost. Oh, don't you worry, I will. But why don't we look at some of the statistics and what it actually takes to become a superhost? Oh, well, here I'm on their website. They're just inundating me with even more gifts. But why don't we look real quick? I'll show you how to find it. So from your phone app, if you're looking at how to become a superhost, what the statistics are, you need to find the Insights tab and go to the Insights tab and click Superhost. On the website, you come up here to where it says Menu. You go down to where it says Insights. You click on Insights. Across the top, there's a few different panels. You click Superhost, and boom, it says that they're still assessing my Superhost status. It's been saying that for the last few days. They only assess every 4 months. So I started back in September, and I had to wait all the way to January to actually be called a superhost, even though I met the qualifications months ago. But let's look at what the qualifications are. So the assessment period that I was assessed for was January 1st through December 31st of 2023. The 4 different categories that they check on are your overall rating, your response rate to chats or requests or queries, how many stays that you've had, and then your cancellation rate or policy. Now, why don't we dig into these one at a time? So obviously, overall rating, the criteria, if you look real close, is 4.8. And I have a 4.9. I'll have to click on that in a second. Yeah. To meet this criteria, you need to have a 4.8 or higher average overall rating based on reviews from January 1st to December 31st. So when it comes to getting the overall rating, this one's tough. In fact, the only non-5-star review that I have one single non-5-star review. And that came from a guy who, I don't know why, they asked for like early check-in, late checkout. I accommodated them. They went through the entire thing. They gave me like 5 stars in all the categories. And then for cleanliness, they gave me 4 stars, but they didn't cite anything. They never complained to me. They didn't say anything wasn't clean. And then they gave me an overall rating of 4 stars. And that is my one single non-5-star rating, which, because it's all averaged out, brings me down with one single 4-star rating, brings me down to 4.9 instead of 5. But whatever, I'm still within the healthy margins, as I should be. Now let's look at the response rate. Response rate. To meet this criteria, you need to have responded to 90% of new messages within 24 hours. These new messages include all first-time guest inquiries and reservation requests from January 1 to December 31st. So that one right there is honestly, in my opinion, the easiest one. Like, so your phone gets pinged, you respond to it. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Next, let's talk about how many stays. So I've got a total of 25 different stays in a 3-month period. You could have met this criteria in one of two different ways, depending on whether you hosted longer or shorter stays. So you either needed to have 10 completed stays or 100 completed nights with at least 3 completed stays. So you could have had somebody book like 40 days and then another person book 30 days and then another person book 30 days. And those 3 stays totaled 100 nights. I did it the other way, which is where I just had 10 completed stays. I've actually had, if you look right back here, 25 completed stays. And I've had people stay for as long as a week and people stay for as little as 1 night. Lastly, cancellation rate. This one's very important. To have met this criteria, you need to cancel fewer than 1% of your reservations between January 1 and December 31st, 2023, which that's actually pretty tough. That means that out of 100 booked reservations, you're allowed to cancel 1 in 100 in order, and that would just make you at 1%. So you actually need to cancel 1 in at least 101 in order to make sure that you're below that cancellation criteria. So I haven't canceled at all. Now, that being said, Airbnb does have a system where if you have to cancel because someone else has damaged the property or left it in such a mess or in such disrepair that you have to cancel because you can't get it cleaned and repaired quick enough for the next group, that type of stuff can be contested if you do have to cancel. The other thing that you can make sure that you do is if for some reason somebody else has to cancel, if a tenant is canceling, if someone using Airbnb is canceling, that doesn't affect your rate at all. So all of these things right here, they're not too difficult to meet if you're just what I would consider a relatively reasonable person and if you're going for hotel level quality. And on top of that, if you haven't been following along, on top of that, I offer this giant basket full of like treats and snacks and candy and goodies. And I always say, hey, everything here is free, but it does cost me to provide this convenience to you. So if you feel like tipping, by all means, go ahead. And then I leave my Venmo, my Zelle, and most of the time people just leave cash. So I provide sodas, waters, coffee, chips, candy bars, Pop-Tarts, oatmeal, cereal, a bunch of little snacks like that. Now, most of the time, people eat between 10 and 15 bucks worth of snacks, but I get left 20, 30, 40. My last group that just left, they probably ate 10 bucks worth of snacks and they left me an $80 tip. $80 tip. I'm telling you, this is a goated hack when it comes to making a little bit of extra money on your Airbnb. If you got a cleaning crew, maybe it's not as big a deal because you're not the one who's actually going to go in there and collect the money. And most people do like to leave cash, not just Venmo. So, but if you are self-cleaning and like self-managing your Airbnb, bro, I'm telling you, just try it. Spend 20 bucks on a bunch of snacks. Every now and then you're going to get somebody who eats the whole bucket and maybe it costs you 15 bucks and they leave you like $1 tip or no tip. But I swear, at least 90% of the time, people are leaving me a tip, and that tip exceeds by at least 2 times the amount in which the food they were eating. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to hop on here real quick, make a fast video, flex on all the broke boys, make you all jealous, remind you who the single greatest real estate investor of all time is, so long as we're only counting individuals in this room. And none of you count because you're actually watching from your rooms. Appreciate you guys as always for being here, and hey, I'll catch you next time.